Our story begins inside a hospital. We see a nurse informing Dr. Beck that the director wants to see him in his office. We know that Dr. Beck is a young man in his early 30s. Thanks to his exceptional skill, he's already earned the title of professor at the medical school. He's handsome, fit, and athletic, the kind of guy who naturally grabs attention. Girls admire him, and he can't seem to get a moment's peace. As he walks toward the office, Beck wonders to himself, is the director setting me up on another blind date again? Beck enters the director's office and greets him politely. The director apologizes for calling him in while he was busy. But Beck replies casually, "It's fine, I don't have too many appointments today." Then mutters to himself, "I wish I did." The director clasps his hands together and starts rubbing them nervously. Beck eyes him and thinks, I remember that move. Last time he did it, he asked me to play golf with him during my vacation. His expression sours a bit. And now he's rubbing even faster than last time. What on earth is he about to ask me now? Finally, the director speaks. The hospital chairman wants to see you for a checkup. Also, he has a bride lined up for you. Beck's jaw nearly drops. Wait, both at once? A checkup and a blind date? I have to escape. Fast. Then pauses. No, wait. It's the chairman we're talking about. I can't say no to him. We find out that the chairman is the head of the most prestigious hospital network in Korea, a well-known and highly respected businessman with massive influence. Beck thinks to himself, when someone like him personally asks for me, it's definitely in my best interest to go. The director then says to Beck, I've already prepared your medical kit. It's packed with all the medications the chairman requested. Beck asks, when should I head out? Right now, the director replies. Cut 2. Beck standing outside the chairman's mansion. He looks up at it and mutters to himself, nothing in life comes easy, huh? As he steps inside, something feels off. The atmosphere is unsettling. It's dark and eerie, almost like he's walked into a haunted house. Suddenly, Beck jumps as a voice crackles through a speaker. It's the chairman, instructing him, just keep walking straight ahead. Beck raises an eyebrow. So the rumors were true. The chairman really is an odd character. He finally enters the room and greets the chairman in person. The old man smiles and says, it's been a long time since we last met. Beck thinks to himself, this old guy has always been kind to me. When I first came to the hospital, I accidentally ran into his secretary, and I guess I made a good impression. Ever since then, he's been looking out for me. So there's no reason to be nervous, right? The chairman says, since you're already here, would you mind checking my blood pressure? Beck agrees to take the chairman's blood pressure, though he can't help thinking to himself, he called in a top-level surgeon like me, just to check his blood pressure? Does this guy not realize my level? Still, he straps the blood pressure cuff onto the chairman's arm and begins the check. 120/80. Perfect, Beck reports. The chairman replies with a smile, maybe because I've been sticking to my workouts lately. Then, almost out of nowhere, he asks, are you interested in antiques? And gestures toward an old painting nearby. It's an ancient scroll, clearly from the Joseon dynasty era of Korea. Ever seen this before? The chairman asks. Beck glances at it and shrugs. I'm not really into antiques. The chairman then asks, what do you think of the two people sitting in the scene? Beck looks closer. I don't know the details, he admits, but something about this painting feels familiar. The chairman nods knowingly. Just as I thought. It's like you've seen it before, isn't it? Suddenly, a powerful energy surges from the painting, bursting outward in a brilliant wave. Beck is thrown back several meters, completely caught off guard. He struggles to make sense of what's happening. His vision spins, the world blurs. He can see the chairman's mouth moving, but he can't hear a single word he's saying. Suddenly, someone shakes Beck awake. A voice snaps at him. Do I have to slap your ear for you to hear me? Beck jolts up in shock. Who are you? What is this place? The man replies calmly. My name's Dulcik. Lord Sengho ordered me to wake you up. Beck stares at him, stunned by the strange clothes he's wearing. He looks around, clearly confused. Where am I? Holding his head, Beck mutters to himself. I'm sure I was on my way to meet the hospital chairman. Suddenly, a loud voice interrupts. Where's that fool Beck? Where is he? Beck turns and is completely shocked to see his father, Seong, storming in with a cane, shouting angrily. Seong charges at him and swings the cane. I told you to stop messing with magic scrolls. Dulcik tries to calm him down, but before the chaos can settle, a doctor walks in and greets Lord Sengho. Sengho turns to him. You've arrived. Good. He leads the doctor to treat a young servant who's fallen ill. Beck watches all of this, stunned. This dream feels way too real. He continues observing. The doctor examines the boy and says to Sengho, "It's a case of blood stagnation. We'll need to inject his stomach with a calming powder and crushed watermelon stem." Beck watches closely as the doctor opens his bag and pulls out a rusted, oversized needle. The doctor smiles proudly. "Good thing I brought my best needle. This will do the job." Then, he draws a large, rusty knife from his kit, preparing to cut the boy. Beck jumps up, horrified. "Wait, what are you doing?" Sengho glares at him. "I've already given up on you." Beck shouts at the doctor. "This guy's clearly a fraud." The doctor turns toward him, offended. "Do you have any idea what these hands have accomplished?" Beck quickly swats the rusty knife out of the doctor's hand. "I'm sure those hands have killed at least 100 patients already. Don't you dare lay a finger on him." Then he turns to Dolsik. "Lift the blanket and bend his knee." Dolsik hesitates, completely confused. What are you doing?" Beck snaps at him. "Even if this is just a dream, there's no way I'm letting this madness continue." The boy, Oksuk, groans in pain. The shady doctor scoffs. "This kid's always causing trouble, just like the rumors say. Let's see what he does this time." Beck presses 2 fingers gently on Okshuk's abdomen, then checks the pulse at his wrist. Dolsik leans in nervously. "You should apologize to the doctor and let him do his job." Beck cuts him off, fuming. "Are you seriously trusting that con artist? Bring me my bag, now." His pulse is 120 beats per minute. "If we don't act fast, he won't make it." Dolsik rushes to hand over the bag. Beck opens it quickly and mutters to himself, "I packed plenty of antibiotics and local anesthetics." Then he freezes. Inside the bag, instead of medical supplies, he finds a handsaw, a hammer, wire, and Viagra. Beck stares at it, dumbfounded. No wonder this thing felt so heavy. Beck turns to Oksuk and says calmly, "Don't move. This is going to hurt, and you'll feel cold, but hang in there." He administers the anesthetic. The shady doctor watches, stunned. "What exactly do you think you're doing?" Beck shoots back. "If you're not going to help, then just stay quiet." He takes a scalpel and begins to make an incision. The doctor panics and shouts, "Are you insane? You're performing surgery while he's still conscious? That's madness." Beck glares at him coldly, his tone sharp and unwavering. "I told you to shut up. I meant it." Then, focusing on the patient, Beck mutters to himself, "Just as I suspected, an inflamed, pus-filled appendix." Without hesitation, Beck begins the operation. He works quickly, calmly, expertly, removing the appendix and stitching up the wound. He looks around confidently as everyone watches, stunned. "The surgery was a success," he says proudly. Turning to Oksuk, "Your fever will go down soon." Then he addresses the room. "But he needs to take a full course of antibiotics, 3 days, no skipping." Everyone is speechless. Dolsik finally asks, wide-eyed, How did you do that?" "It's like you cut him open and put him back together perfectly." The shady doctor just stares, stunned and clearly jealous. Lord Sengho looks at Beck and says in disbelief, "Unbelievable, you learned all that just from spending a short time with Master Hyo-jun?" Beck sighs and thinks to himself, "Trying to explain this would be way too exhausting." "Well, it's just a dream anyway," Beck thinks to himself. He takes out 2 tablets from his medical bag and hands them to Dolsik. "Crush these and mix them with water. Give them to Oksuk now, and again tomorrow morning." Gratitude washes over Dolsuk's face. He bows his head deeply. "Thank you, for saving my little brother." Beck, keeping a straight face, replies, "That'll be 1 consultation fee, please." But before Dolsik can react, Lord Sengho snaps at him, "You're hopeless." Cut to later that night. Beck is lying on the floor, staring at the ceiling. "I performed surgery in the Joseon era. What the hell?" He exhales, then smiles faintly. "It wasn't so bad, though. At least I got to see my father again, after all this time." He closes his eyes and mutters, "If this is just a dream, I wouldn't mind dreaming it again sometime." But then, morning comes. Dolsik gently shakes him awake. "Sir, the bath is ready." Beck slowly opens his eyes. Then suddenly bolts upright, wide-eyed. "Wait, this isn't a dream?" Beck finally comes to terms with it. He's traveled back in time to the Joseon dynasty. The only thing he brought from his own time is his doctor's bag, which he now hugs tightly while quietly crying. He wonders to himself, "Should I be happy? I've been reincarnated as a noble from ancient times." Suddenly, Dolsik walks in with good news. Oakshuk's feeling much better than yesterday. Beck smiles with relief. That's great to hear. But Dolsik adds sheepishly, the medicine bottle you gave me, it's gone. Could you give me another one? Beck frowns and starts digging through his bag. You were supposed to take care of it. You won't find anything like it in this world. But then he stops. The medicine bottle he opened yesterday? Brand new again. The surgical thread he used? Untouched, exactly as it was before. Beck stares at the contents, wide-eyed. What is going on here? He rushes to check on Oksuk. The stitches are still there, but they look completely different from the thread Beck used during the operation. Beck stands back and mutters, looks like I'll need to get used to strange things from now on. Seems like everything in this bag resets itself each day. Dolsik breaks the moment with a cheerful tone. There's a festival in the marketplace today. The theater troupe from Sengho City is performing. If you're going, I'll tag along. Beck agrees. I want to figure out exactly when in Joseon I've ended up. Maybe I'll find some clues at the market. At the festival, the troupe takes the stage. They begin their show, performing rope-jumping acrobatics, their movements graceful and gymnastic-like, leaping through the air in dazzling displays. Beck watches the performance, wide-eyed and grinning. This is way more impressive than I expected, he says, genuinely amazed. But then, a mistake. One of the performers accidentally smacks his teammate across the face midair. Beck flinches at the impact, expecting a disaster. But to his surprise, no one's hurt. That was still an incredible show, he says, relieved and impressed. Just then, a masked performer walks up to him and holds out a hand, asking for a tip, a small reward for enjoying the show. Beck mutters to himself, so, this troupe is really just scraping by, huh? Dolsik steps forward quickly. Leave this to me. Beck smiles at him. Thanks. He then glances at the masked performer more closely. That one, looks like a woman. No Adam's apple. Then what's with the deep voice? Well, I'm sure she has her reasons. Then again, nothing could be stranger than my reason for ending up time traveling to a different era. Cut to Beck later, sitting and eating a bowl of rice peacefully. Suddenly, a group of girls peeks over the courtyard wall, whispering excitedly to each other. He's even more handsome than the rumors said. Beck smirks proudly. So, even in this era, this handsome face turns heads. But then he notices Dolsik looking smug. Dolsik says confidently, "What, you think they were talking about you?" Beck glares at him. "You're handsome too. Alright, Mr. Charming, but..." Before he can finish, Dolsik cuts him off. "I'm cute, not broody like you." Beck stares at him, stunned. Who gave this servant such a huge ego? Suddenly, they hear a thud. Someone has collapsed. It's Master Byenso, the leader of the theater troupe. His performers rush to his side in panic. Dolsik leans toward Beck and whispers, "That's the old performance troupe. They were supposed to put on a show at the magistrate's house today, but looks like that's not happening now." Just as he finishes speaking, Beck disappears. From a distance, a girl screams, "My father's not breathing." It's Yoon, Byenso's daughter. We see Beck already kneeling beside Byenso, checking his pulse, but he doesn't find one. Beck realizes, it's the same guy who got hit during the show earlier. Suddenly, one of the troupe members snaps angrily, "How dare you lay a hand on our leader?" Beck responds firmly, "If you leave him like this, he'll die, and you'll regret it for the rest of your life." He examines Byenso's chest. His injury is in the chest. It's probably heart-related. Byenso's chest is red and inflamed. Beck presses a piece of cotton to the area and calls out, "Dolsik, get over here." He pulls a syringe from his bag. "Hold him steady while I give the injection." Dolsik quickly grabs Byenso and braces him. Just as Beck injects him, another member of the troupe shouts in protest, but Dolsik tackles and restrains him. "Wait a moment, just watch what happens." Dolsik smirks and thinks to himself, "Now I get it. This is why Beck's so full of himself." We see the syringe drawing blood from Byenso's chest as Beck works quickly. He turns to Dolsik. "Watch closely. What I'm about to do, this is how you save a life." Beck begins pressing on Byenso's chest, strong, steady compressions. But there's no response. Still unconscious. "Dolsik," Beck says, tense, "you take over. Press hard, right here." Dolsik starts pumping on the chest. Yoon watches with wide eyes. I've never seen this kind of treatment before." Beck leans down and begins giving Byenso CPR, mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Yoon gasps, and immediately jumps to the wrong conclusion. "What do you think you're doing? How dare you taint my father's pure love for my mother? She punches Beck hard in the face. Beck winces and turns to Dulcich. Stop the compressions. Then, a sudden gasp. Everyone freezes as Byanso starts breathing again. His eyes open slowly. Beck calls out. He's awake. Byanso blinks and asks, "Where am I?" One of the troop members stammers. He wasn't breathing, his heart wasn't beating. Another whispers in awe. Does that mean this man brought someone back from the dead? Beck kneels next to Byanso and asks, "Did you take a hard hit to the chest during the performance?" Byanso nods weakly. "I messed up the stunt." Beck explains in simple terms. "That's why your heart stopped and you couldn't breathe. But don't worry, I treated you like nothing ever happened." Byanso and Yoon just stare at him, confused. Beck sighs to himself. "Right, I forgot. I'm in Joseon. Of course no one here understands modern medicine." But then, their expressions soften. Gratitude fills their eyes. Yoon steps forward, bowing deeply. "I'm so sorry for how we treated you earlier." Byanso says with a smile. "Thanks to you, I'll still be able to perform at the governor's mansion today." Beck blinks. He was just on death's doorstep, and he's still thinking about the show. Dulcich leans in and explains. The provincial governor is the highest-ranking official in the area. No one dares turn down his invitation. Yoon turns to her father, wiping away tears. "I thought you were gone." Byanso pats her head and replies, "I was lucky, the right person saved me." Beck opens his bag and pulls out some pills. "You can go back to work now. Just take these." He turns to Yoon, handing her the medicine. "Give him one today. Come by my place tomorrow for the second dose." Yoon looks up at him, genuinely moved. "What can I do to repay you?" Beck, completely serious, replies, "Money." But suddenly, Beck changes his mind. He realizes something important. "Wait, they might be able to help me get back to my own time." He turns to Yoon and asks, "Actually, can I ask you for something else?" Yoon, still glowing with gratitude, responds eagerly, "Of course. Anything you need." Beck leans in slightly. "I want to learn more about Korea. This era, I mean." He smirks to himself. This is better than any consultation fee. Later, we see Beck and Dulcich walking a long country path. Beck mutters to himself, "We've been walking forever. If we had a car, we'd be there in 5 minutes." Then he looks around, his mood softening. "But it's worth it. I need more info about the Joseon era." We note that the place Beck is currently in is called Suwon. He's searching for a famous fortress named Hwasong. That means, he's living in a time before King Jeongjo ascended the throne. So I've traveled to before the peak of the Joseon dynasty. When Beck finally arrives at his father Sengho's place, he's greeted with fury. Sengho storms up to him, shouting, "You disappeared again last night, didn't you?" Beck blinks in confusion. "Huh? What are you talking about?" Sengho glares at him, trembling with frustration. "You've completely lost your mind. You'll be the death of me, I swear. If I want to live a long life, I should just end yours now." Beck stares at his furious father. "Why? What did I even do to deserve all this?" Sengho snaps back. "A reckless brat like you has no place in Joseon." He raises his cane, clearly ready to strike. Beck immediately assesses the situation. "I have to act fast. He's strong, way stronger than I thought. I can't take this head on." Suddenly, Beck drops to his knees. Sengho pauses, surprised. "So, you think you can handle a strike to the head?" Beck quickly pleads. "If you hit me anywhere, I might actually die." He lowers his voice, more sincere now. "Please, just give me a chance. I promise I'll focus entirely on my medical studies from now on." Dulcich jumps in, backing him up. He's really been serious about medicine. He even brought someone back to life today. Sengho's eyes go wide. "What? He did it again?" Beck glances at Dulcich and mutters, "Keep it going. Sell it harder." Dulcich nods and adds, "He didn't even drink today, not a single cup." Sengho gasps. Beck watches him carefully. "Okay, why does he look more shocked than necessary?" Tears suddenly well up in Sengho's eyes. The end must be near. The heavens must be falling. He sighs, wiping his eyes. "Go to bed. It's late." Beck blinks, caught off guard. He's crying. "I didn't expect that at all." Then he thinks to himself, "He's just like my real dad. Can't express himself to save his life." Later, Dulcich walks beside him and asks, "Were you serious about what you said? That you're really going to focus on medicine, and help the people who need it?" Beck stays quiet for a moment, then thinks, "There's no way I can survive long-term with this intense Joseon family drama. But I need to play this smart." He turns to Dolsik. Let's head to the provincial governor's mansion. I want to catch the theater performance. Dolsik raises an eyebrow. Wait, I thought you didn't want to go. Why the change of heart? Beck turns to Dolsik with a grin. There are definitely going to be patients there, and I'll feel proud treating them. When they arrive at the provincial governor's mansion, the theater troupe is already mid-performance, dazzling the crowd with acrobatic stunts. Beck overhears people talking excitedly nearby. Did you hear what happened to Master Byenso? The troop leader? Yeah, one of the nobles saved him from death. Beck immediately chimes in, flashing a confident smile. You're talking about me, of course. One of them squints at him. Wait, are you saying someone actually brought a dead man back to life? Beck nods proudly. That would be me. I revived him. Dolsik leans over and whispers. Not that it's my place to say this, but my lord is insanely full of himself. We see Beck relishing the attention, fully basking in his growing reputation. He tells Dolsik with a smirk, think of it as marketing. If I brag now, I'll attract more patients. People will trust me, and my name will spread. Then Beck thinks to himself, I'll treat people better than those so-called doctors with centuries of outdated experience. Not like that fraud who nearly stabbed Kosik with a rusty kitchen knife. Suddenly, a messenger approaches Beck with a formal bow. The provincial governor requests your presence. Beck stiffens. Here we go. Things are heating up. He's led through the mansion's grand halls and soon stands before the provincial governor himself, an intimidating, high-ranking figure. Beck's confidence flickers. He immediately drops to his knees out of respect. The governor stares at him calmly and asks, Are you Kong Hyuk? Beck answers confidently, Yes, that's me. From the Beck family. The provincial governor studies him, then says with a chuckle, I've heard people say you're an idiot, but it seems that was just a rumor. Word is you brought a dead man back to life. Then he leans in, eyes glinting with curiosity. But tell me, can you revive other things too? Beck blinks. Other things? What kind of things does he mean? Then it clicks. Oh. He keeps a straight face, thinking to himself, either way, this is my chance to prove myself here. Beck stands tall and asks, if I'm going to treat someone, I need to know the full case. What's the exact issue? The governor sighs dramatically and replies, It's my pride. It needs to come back to life. Beck freezes. So that's why the director packed Viagra in my medical bag. He flashes a confident smile. Don't worry, I'll bring your pride back to life. Later that night, Beck is fast asleep on his mat, exhausted. Someone shakes him awake. Who's waking me up at this hour? It's the governor, and he looks absolutely elated. Grinning ear to ear, he says proudly, Dr. Beck, I'm a man again. Turns out he's been searching all night just to thank him. He grabs Beck in a tight, heartfelt hug. This is all thanks to you. Just then, Dolsik walks in carrying a tray of fruit, and drops everything when he sees them. His eye twitches. He growls jealously. It's not what it looks like. The provincial governor beams and says to Beck, Ask for anything, I'll make it happen. Turns out Beck made a bold request. He asked for his own private clinic. And the governor granted his wish. All it cost was a few Viagra pills. Beck smirks to himself. Opening a private clinic like this would be nearly impossible even in modern Korea. No outrageous rent. I'm already famous before I've even opened. What more could I want? Outside the new clinic, chaos brews. A massive crowd of patients floods the entrance. People are pushing, shoving, shouting, all desperate to be seen by the miracle doctor. One man yells, This guy can bring the dead back to life. Restart a heart that's already stopped. Even the provincial governor, once infamous for his awful temper, is now known for being cheerful all the time. Beck watches the madness and thinks, with the theater troupe acting as walking advertisements for me, I can achieve everything I want here. We see that the governor has gifted Beck a full-sized house, repurposed into his private hospital. Suddenly, Yoon arrives at the clinic. She smiles warmly at Beck. I noticed you're short on help. Would you like me to be your secretary? Beck lights up. Absolutely. I'd love that. Patients are then brought in one by one, following a proper order. Until the piece is shattered. Move aside. Out of the way. Make room. The judge of Ansung is here for treatment. A small entourage pushes through the crowd, led by a group of rude attendants. Dolsik steps forward and tries to keep things fair. I'm sorry, but everyone must wait their turn in line. One of the judge's men sneers. Do you even know who this is? Before Dolsik can respond, the man strikes him across the head. Beck hears the commotion outside and steps out of the clinic, surprised at what's going on. One of the judge's assistants scolds Dulcich. How dare you make the judge of Ansung wait behind commoners? You better learn some manners. He raises his hand to strike Dulcich again, but Dulcich grabs his wrist midair. The assistant stares at him, shocked. Dulcich says firmly, "You and I are the same. We're both commoners. Don't act like you're above me." Beck walks out, annoyed. What's with all the noise? If you keep causing trouble, I'll throw everyone out. The assistant freezes when he realizes Beck is a noble. He nervously turns to the judge. Sir, what should we do? The judge, calm but arrogant, steps forward. I'll handle this myself. He looks Beck in the eye and says, So, you're saying I can't get treatment when I want it? I've never been denied anything in my life. Tell me, if I were to tear this whole building down right now, would you still stick to your little rules? Beck frowns. That's incredibly rude. The judge smirks. No, you're the rude one. Beck, already prepared for power plays like this, leans into his plan. He slowly lowers himself to the ground, then lies flat under the judge's feet, looking up at him mockingly. Let's see how you handle this. The judge, furious, kicks Beck, sending both him and Dulcich flying back. Dulcich yells out theatrically. The judge is beating civilians. He's threatening to tear down the governor's house. Then he quickly adds for effect. Since when was a judge above the governor? The judge, startled, looks around. What are you screaming about? I haven't even done anything yet. Then he pauses. Wait, this place belongs to the governor? Suddenly, the provincial governor appears behind him, silent but fuming. Beck watches this unfold, thinking to himself, back in modern Korea, I've seen arrogant patients disrespect doctors before. But at least we had laws, police, protections. In Joseon, there are no consequences when the offender has power. He remembers the look of a powerful official in modern Korea, who once begged him for treatment, on his knees. A man who once abused his rank, now desperate for Beck's help. Beck lies on the ground, smirking as the judge panics in front of the provincial governor. The judge tries to explain himself. Governor. I didn't know this house belonged to you. I was just. But the governor cuts him off sharply. I heard you say it yourself. You threatened to destroy my house. The judge stammers, sweat pouring down his face. I didn't mean it. I swear I didn't know. The governor gives him a cold, hard glare. Then, after a long pause, he says, I'll let this go, but from now on, you'll be under surveillance. I want to see whether you're truly loyal. The judge bows repeatedly in panic. Thank you, Governor. Thank you for your mercy. He leaves, humiliated. Beck watches the whole thing from the ground, still smirking. He thinks to himself, that's what you get for picking a fight with me. He turns to the governor and gestures toward the clinic. Please, come in. The governor chuckles. Aren't you supposed to follow the rules like everyone else? Don't I need to take a number first? Beck waves it off. For you? Rules don't apply. I owe you, after all. Come whenever you want, even if you're the last one in line. The governor laughs heartily. You're the one who brought my pride back, after all. In that moment, Beck realizes something. Safety and influence, that's what I need to survive in this world. He then asks the governor, do you need your usual daily dose? But the governor shakes his head. Not for me this time. I came to ask for something else. A friend of mine, he's a martial artist. He's badly injured and needs your help. With that, the governor leaves. Later, Beck turns to Yoon and Dulcich and says sincerely, thanks for your hard work today. Moments later, the governor's injured friend arrives at the clinic, his leg bleeding heavily. Beck stares in shock. How did he manage to walk all that way, with that leg? But then his expression shifts, a flicker of recognition crosses his face. He squints at the man, stunned. The 100-won guy. Beck begins examining the governor's friend's injured leg. He's stunned when he hears his name, Shin. Beck freezes. His eyes widen. Wait, Shin? That Shin? He stares at him again, and it finally hits him. It's really him. Shin, the most famous warrior of the Joseon dynasty. The same Shin whose face is printed on the 100-won bill in modern Korea. His jaw drops. Unbelievable. Not only did I time travel to Joseon, I'm treating Shin himself. Beck removes the wrapping and sees the wound. His expression turns grim. Yoon gasps behind him. Shin's leg is swollen, discolored, red and inflamed. Beck mutters to himself. This is really bad. He turns to Shin. You said you've injured this leg before and recovered easily? Shin nods. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal last time, but it's been hurting more lately. What's your opinion, Dr. Beck? Beck's tone turns serious. Honestly, it's a miracle you even made it here on foot. Your bone is fractured and misaligned. The swelling is extreme. He looks Shin in the eye. We need to operate immediately. I have to remove the infected tissue and blood, reset the bone, and tie off the damaged vessels. Shin listens calmly, then bows his head slightly. Do whatever you need to do. I trust you. Beck takes a deep breath. I'll need to use a scalpel. Shin nods without hesitation. That's fine. Beck watches him silently. Just as I thought, even in the face of a gruesome surgery, this guy is unshakable. He's the real deal. Shin winces and grips his chest, his face tight with pain. Beck watches him, deeply troubled. He thinks to himself, even if I were a genius surgeon, his condition is horrible. The chances of success are slim. But if I don't try, the leg will rot, and he'll die. We get a quick flash of Shin's legacy. He's the same Shin who led Korea to victory against the Japanese Navy during the Imjin War in the Joseon era. His name is revered not only in Korea, but even respected in Japan, for his unmatched tactical brilliance on and off the battlefield. Beck steels himself. We see Shin lying flat on the ground, pale, unconscious. Beck wears a surgical mask, a makeshift surgical gown, and holds a syringe. Dolsik and Yoon stand nearby, both dressed like impromptu surgical assistants. Beck whispers to himself, this might not be enough, but even a weak anesthetic is better than nothing. He injects Shin and watches carefully. Shin finally slips into sleep. Beck looks at his assistants. Dolsik, Yoon, I need your help. He takes out his scalpel. Yoon gasps. He's really going to cut open his leg with that tiny knife? Beck makes the incision. A rush of dark blood pours out. Yoon jumps, but Beck reassures her, don't panic. It's just pooled blood. If it were an artery, he'd be dead already. He narrows his eyes. The reason there's this much blood must be because the deep veins in the leg are torn. He holds out his hand. Dolsik, thread and scissors, now. He thinks to himself, if I were in a real operating room, this would have been over already. But here, I have to fix every damaged vessel manually. He lifts the scalpel again. And then, suddenly, the bleeding stops. Beck is taken aback as the bleeding stops suddenly. He narrows his eyes in confusion. But he doesn't have time to dwell. He barks at Dolsik. Stop spacing out. Hold it steady. I need to realign the bone. Dolsik quickly complies, eyes wide. He thinks to himself, where on earth did Beck learn skills like this? Then out loud, yes, sir. Beck grips a metal plate from his kit. The bone's back in place. Now I'll use this plate to hold it steady. Dolsik stares. What is that thing? Beck responds without looking up. It's a surgical plate. It'll stabilize the bone. Internally, Beck mutters to himself. I have no idea why this was even in my bag. But it's here, and I'm going to use it to save Shin. No matter what it takes. He looks at Dolsik. Focus, we're almost there. He presses the plate against the bone and starts fastening it. It's hard work. The bone is incredibly dense. Beck grits his teeth. Nothing beats modern medicine. I'll secure it now with some screws. He reaches for the tiny surgical screws. Just as he's tightening the plate, Shin suddenly groans and flinches. Beck freezes for a second, eyes wide. Crap, I forgot the anesthesia is weak in this era. How is he not screaming by now? He quickly steadies his hands, keeping his expression calm. The operation must go on. Shin grits his teeth, bearing the pain as Beck cuts deeper and realigns the broken bone. Beck, drenched in sweat, thinks to himself, what I'm doing is difficult, but it's nothing compared to what Shin is enduring. That's why I have to see this through. He leans in and says aloud, please, just hold on a little longer. We're almost there. With a final twist of his tool, Beck secures the last screw into the surgical plate. He exhales sharply, grabs the suture thread, and stitches the wound shut. The operation was a success. Shin slowly sits up, testing his leg. He grins. The pain's nothing, just like I expected. Everyone around him stares in disbelief. Beck, completely spent, collapses to the floor from exhaustion. Dolsik and Yoon rush to him. Sir, are you okay? Shin looks at them all with quiet gratitude. Thank you, all of you. The next morning, Beck jerks awake, startled. Mr. Shin, your leg. Yoon, sitting beside him, looks at him with a half smile. You're just now waking up? Beck groans internally. Did I really faint? During the surgery? I'm a medical professor, how embarrassing. Suddenly, Dolsik bursts into the room, panicked. Sir, there's a problem. Beck sighs, still groggy. What is it now, this early in the morning? They rush outside, and see Shin, legs still bandaged, practicing martial arts moves like nothing happened. He's swinging his arms, balancing on his newly operated leg. Dolsik grabs Beck. He's been like this since morning. We keep trying to stop him, but he won't listen. What if the wound reopens? Beck watches calmly. He replies flatly, I thought it was something serious. Dolsik stares at him in disbelief. Beck continues, you can't stop people who've climbed to the top. Their cause means more than their own body. If you tell someone like him to stop and rest, he'll leave the hospital before finishing treatment. Dolsik scoffs, frustrated. So we're just supposed to let him act like this? That's ridiculous. Beck looks at Dolsik seriously and says, instead of trying to talk him out of it, we'll change his mind with a little action. Cut 2. Shin sitting in front of a steaming dish of fried chicken. He blinks and looks at Beck. What's this? Beck grins. Fried chicken. Shin takes a bite, and his eyes light up. This isn't just delicious. It's full of protein. The kind that gives you real strength. Beck nods. Exactly. This will give you power, but only if you follow my instructions after eating. They eat together. Later, Shin is seen sitting back, totally relaxed, content. Dolsik whispers to Beck, he didn't listen to your warning, but he stopped training. Then to himself, wait, could resting actually be part of his training? Maybe that's why Beck didn't try to stop him directly. Beck smirks. The plan's going exactly as I intended. And it's true. Thanks to Beck's clever tactics, Shin will recover, continue his legendary career, and go down in history as one of Joseon's greatest warriors. Just as it was written. Beck thinks to himself, I might actually see the turtle ships I read about in history books. But then his smile fades. A sudden memory flashes. The Imjin War. The brutal invasion of Korea by Japan in the late 1500s. His heart sinks. He turns to Yoon. Do you remember what I asked you? Yoon nods. The info about South Korea? I've been asking around, but it seems like no one knows anything. Beck's face goes pale. He thinks to himself, no one knows about South Korea. I really don't know when, or even if, I'll get back. And if the Imjin War is approaching, I could die here. Then comes the deepest question of all. Am I supposed to do something before the Imjin War begins? Beck thinks to himself, there's still time. Shin is still young. If I start acting now, maybe I'll find a way back to my time. But no matter how good a doctor I am, how am I supposed to face an actual war? Suddenly, he hears a voice. Don't worry. Trust me. Beck turns around, startled. It's Sengho, standing with his friend Chong. Sengho laughs. What's wrong? You look like you just saw a ghost. Beck stammers. And no, I didn't mean it like that, it's just, what are you doing here? Then to himself. My real father is dead in modern Korea. So yeah, you do kinda feel like a ghost. Chong says to Sengho. I'm fine. Let's just head back. But Sengho stops him. Don't be stubborn. I know my son's a bit of a wild card, but I heard your daughter's sick and needs treatment. Right now, Beck is the best doctor in Suwon. Beck lights up inside. Ah, so he brought me a patient. He's finally acknowledging me, finally showing some respect. He turns to Chong and says with a confident smile, I'm a good doctor. You can trust me. Chong sighs. Well, if everyone says so, then come with me. Cut 2. Beck, Dolsik, and Yoon standing outside Chang's house. They all pause for a moment. It's a humble straw-roofed cottage, nothing like the grand homes of other nobles. Beck thinks to himself, this doesn't look like the house of a noble, this guy clearly lives a modest life. Beck looks at Chong and thinks to himself, this guy seems tough, but it's clear he doesn't care much about money. Suddenly, Chong draws a line in the dirt with a stick and says, she's in there. You can treat her from here. Beck looks around, confused. Where's the patient? Chong points toward his house. She's inside. She can hear you if you speak loud enough. Beck blinks in disbelief. You want me to treat someone without even seeing her? Chong snaps at him. Of course. How can a grown man and woman face each other alone? That's improper. Beck mutters to himself. Yep. Full Joseon energy. This guy's stuck in the 1600s. And I can't even argue, he's my dad's acquaintance. Great. Suddenly, a foul smell wafts out from the room. Beck sniffs and thinks, that smell, something's definitely wrong. Chong calls into the room. Joe, are you awake? Beck clenches his jaw. This old man is driving me insane. I swear, I could just shove him aside and walk in. But no. He's my dad's friend. I'd be in deep trouble if I crossed the line. He takes a breath, then says gently, Joe, I'm a doctor. Can I ask you a few questions? Joe responds from inside, go ahead. Right away, Beck notices something in her voice. He thinks, dry mouth. She's dehydrated. He asks, how long have you been feeling sick? Joe asks, 10 days. Beck asks, where's the pain? Joe, my right leg hurts. Beck frowns. 10 days, that's a long time. He asks, did anything happen before it started hurting? Joe, I stepped on something. My foot bled a little but stopped. I didn't think it was a big deal. Beck's eyes narrow. That's it. Likely tetanus, or maybe cellulitis. He reassures her, you're lucky. This can be treated in a few days. Chang's voice rises with hope. Really? Beck nods. It's nothing serious. She'll be okay. He pulls out a pill from his bag and hands it over. Give her this. She'll start feeling better after taking it. Chang beams. You really are as brilliant as they say. Beck shrugs modestly. It's the least I can do, since you're connected to my father. He adds, I'll stop by again soon to check up on her. As Beck walks away, Chang calls after him with a sincere, thank you again. Dolsik looks uneasy and says to Beck, are you sure what we did was right? Beck, what do you mean? Dolsik, that girl's condition seemed really serious. We could smell it from outside. Was it okay to just give her a pill and leave? Beck's tone shifts to serious as he explains, of course not. In a case like that, giving her medicine wasn't enough. It's clear she needs surgery. Urgently. Dolsik, surprised. Then why did you lie to her father? Beck, to calm them down. I had to buy some time. I'm planning to perform the surgery tonight, in secret. Night falls. The trio arrives quietly outside Chang's house. Beck peeks through the wall. Lights are off. Good. They tiptoe carefully. Dolsik whispers nervously, are you sure about this? What if it gets misunderstood? This could end badly. Beck, focused. Her condition is serious. That smell alone told me she's in danger. Dolsik, still unsure. But her dad is stuck in old traditions. And the girl probably is too. If she wakes up and sees us, she'll freak out. Beck grins slightly. I planned for that too. That's why I brought Yun. Yun, caught off guard. Wait, what? What do you mean? I've never done surgery before. Beck, confidently. Don't worry. I'll guide you through every step from a distance. You just need to follow my instructions. Yun still looks panicked, but Beck adds with determination. You both need to start learning medicine anyway. This won't be the last emergency we face. Then he thinks to himself, before the war begins, I need to train as many doctors as I can.